Alright guys, good morning. I am just wrapping up with rabbit chores, and today is an exciting day at Sycamore Ridge for the rabbits. We've got some breeding that needs to get done. Somebody's on their 27th day of gestation, so they're going to get a nest box. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my record keeping. So here we go. We'll get started with the breeding first. Tina here has a litter, and it's been 3 weeks since she had that litter. And since it's been 3 weeks, now we can breed Tina back. And I'm going to try Tina with Pat. And Pat has not been a successful dad just yet. More on that in a bit. So we're going to grab Tina and put her in with Pat. You always want to make sure you put the doe in with the buck, or you put them in a neutral area. You never want to put that buck in with the doe, or she could get very, very aggressive. In this case, I wouldn't do that anyway because Tina still has her babies. I'm going to grab Tina and we'll get her hooked up with Pat. So this is Tina. She is a Californian. She's had one successful litter so far with Ed as the daddy. So we're going to see how she does with Pat, who is a New Zealand white. So Pat is getting right after it. That is good. It kind of looks like Tina might be keeping her butt down. Yeah, Tina might not be ready for love. So sometimes you will have that where the doe is just simply not interested. You can see she's kind of fighting back on him. So in this case, I'll probably pull her out of there. Because, yeah, she's being kind of aggressive. So I'll get her pulled out of there, and we'll try that again later. Well, no dice on any breeding happening today. It might be still a little too early for her, but you can usually breed them back 3 weeks after they've given birth. So we'll give her another couple of days, put her back in with Pat. Pat was doing a good job. He was trying to get it done. Now, last time I bred somebody with Pat, it was Krusty here, and he only had one successful breed, or fall off as they call it, and I was going to show you that, but we'll try that again another time. So he just bred her once, and that's all it takes. Typically you want at least 3, so you know you're not wasting your time. But with that being said, it was 27 days ago that happened. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nest box in with Krusty just in case she's actually going to have a litter. Maybe we'll see her start making a nest, and then we'd know right away if she was bred or not. So I'm going to get this nest box in that I've got prepped for her, and we'll kind of watch and see what happens. I've got the nest box in with her. She's got a little bit of her grass hay there that she could use for nesting. I did put a little bit of grass in there to get her started. She is not a super active rabbit. So we're not really getting much out of Krusty. I'll let her be for a while. One of the things I forgot to mention over here with Pat is when he was working on his job, I took his water out. That's for their safety and just because I don't want to have to clean up a mess and refill his water. So he's probably thirsty after doing all that work. Good job, Pat. You tried. So one of the things I wanted to talk about that took me a little while to figure out when I started raising rabbits, and I learned what I've learned from my mom and watching videos, but my mom raised rabbits for years. She raised Flemish Giants mostly. What I've got is New Zealand's and Californians, and then my buck over here, Ed, is a Satin. So what I've started doing and getting a lot better at is keeping records of my rabbits. I have kept them on paper in the past. I found an app called Rabbitry that I've used, and I wasn't really good at keeping it on any of them. I'll show you the papers that I use, but the app, it's great. I feel like it's catered to maybe a little more mass production, a bigger farm than mine, because you can't, it sounds silly, but you can't enter the rabbit's name. It goes by cage number, and maybe there's more to the app than I know, but I can't remember who Cage 2 is. I can remember who Krusty is. So what I've started doing is I just use Google Sheets. And I just made sure I downloaded it on my phone so that I could keep some records while I was down here, what all I had going on. So, and I don't expect you guys to see this. I'll try to get a screenshot entered in. But I've got the doe and the buck, and then the breed date. And then I got an estimated due date. So rabbit gestation is typically 31 days. I've had sooner and I've had later. So I just entered a formula adding 31 days to the breed date for my estimated due date. And then I have the actual Kindle date, so I can see just how far off I might have been. And then I have the litter size, and then the estimated breed back date, which is, like I said, 3 weeks. And then I have the actual breed back date. And then I have the wean date, which is 42 days, or 6 weeks after they have been born. So that's when it's safe to take them away from the mom. And some people do it at 4 weeks, you can do it at 6 weeks. I even saw in a video this morning that someone just left them there until butcher date and just put them in a large cage. So I guess you could do that too. I don't have any cages that big, especially when Tina's litter that she just had was 10 kits. That's a huge litter. I wouldn't do that to her and keep all those bunnies with her at the same time. So I've also got just a space in here for notes if there's something special I want to keep track of. But right now where I'm at, that's really all I want to keep track of. I want to pay attention to when their due date is so I can get that nest box in. And then I want to know when I can wean them and when I can breed back the doe. So this is how I used to keep track of who was bred. And so you can see here, I've got bred 9/29. This one says February 15th. I bred to Ed. And these are real old because there's a couple bucks here that I don't have. So that is how I used to keep track of it. These are all-weather notebooks. You can write on with a regular pen. You can see this has been out here for a while because that says that's 2018. So, I mean, it worked okay, but I was sitting there trying to do math in my head of when they were due, and then I might move a doe somewhere else and forget to move her notebook with her. So I've got several of these still, and sometimes I'll still take notes on them if there's just something I want to remember about the rabbits or something. But I found that I'm personally a lot better about keeping track of it on the spreadsheet. Now I got it on my phone, so I really don't have any excuses now. The other thing that I want to go check on today with you guys is my litter that's out here. I was talking to my mom last night about when I want to start butchering them, and she said typically your fryer's about 4 pounds. So I have no idea how much mine weigh. I'm going to try to get one weighed. I don't really have the right scale set up for that, but we'll see what I can figure out. I got to bring them some grass hay anyway, so let's go check them out. So I am in my bathroom with one of Cora's first litter, and I'm going to try to get a weight on him on my bathroom scale, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Apparently he weighs nothing. said 1.8 at one point. Yeah, that's not going to work. So, I'm going to guess he's not old enough or doesn't weigh enough to butcher, because I was able to weigh my cat on here a couple days ago, so I knew how much medication to give him. He weighs 4 pounds. So if my rabbit's not registering at least 4 pounds, I know I can't butcher him anyway. And they still seem really small to me. So we'll still give it a little while on that. Well, guys, that's all I have for today's video about breeding rabbits. Just to recap a few things. 2 to 3 weeks after the kits are born, you can breed back your doe. It didn't happen today with Tina. She was not having it. So I'll try again tomorrow, or I'll give her a couple of days. The other thing is 27 days after a successful breed, you need to start getting that nest box in with the rabbits. You don't want to do it any sooner than that. They'll start making a mess of it. And the other thing is, make sure you are keeping track of your breed dates, your due dates. I've done it with paper, I've done it on an app on my phone, and now I'm just doing it with a good old spreadsheet, and that works too. So whatever way you have to do it, you're going to be a lot more successful and a lot more on top of things if you are keeping good records. You guys are bouncing around in the wind. I see the camera going crazy. So that's all I have for you today. If you appreciate these videos, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's something else that you got questions about or whatever. I'll do my best. You guys have a great day. Thank you.